It's the Sergio Show, and here's your host, Sergio Dominguez. Hey guys, welcome to the Sergio Show, and for this episode, I'm going to talk about something I never thought I had the you-know-whats to talk about, and that is the worst parts of the Sergio Show. Yeah, I know the previous episode, but come on, there's two sides to every coin, especially if the coin is a cartoon. So for this episode, I'm going to talk about the worst parts of the Sergio Show. Now, any of you who are diehard fans of the show, which is I think maybe 3, 4, 2, 1 fans of the show, you got to just agree with me or at least understand why this is a thing for some people on how bad the show could be or has been or is like this. So I'm sorry, I just want to be a little teeny wee bit realistic on why a show like this could be unbelievably, but possibly, flawed. So bear with me. Okay, number 100. Nothing. Oh no, wait, darn it, I just used that joke in an earlier season. But darn it, I actually have a tough time figuring out what's so gosh darn flawed about the Sergio Show. Oh no, wait, I thought of a bunch. Here we go. Number 1, the show is rushed as hell. If you're watching this in a weirdly crude executed way, then you know I just did it in a couple of minutes. Yeah. To save animation time and time in general, I decided to cut corners, edit the heck out of it, a lot of these episodes, and just hope for the best. As much as this show doesn't have deadlines, it ultimately does have the biggest deadline of all, the patience of the audience. So, on my hands and knees, I gotta put these episodes together as best as possible and hope for the best. Yeah, sure, I could take my time and put these episodes together, but I had like 1 or 2 bad moments, and all I did was have a really small audience out of it because it took that long. And that's how the show is, and whatever. Flawed thing about the Sergio Show number 2. Weird accidental moments like that. I just flub my lines. And sometimes when I do recordings, I am just like, welcome to the Sergio Show. Darn it. Now I have to record again. And sometimes cracks like that get through the show. And sometimes I bypass it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I rush. But, I haven't told you that yet. So that's another reason why the Sergio Show is so unfortunately flawed. Okay, number 3. The animation is oddly lazy. Yeah, while you click on the internet to see the kind of quality cartoons that you actually have to pay for in theaters and somehow pay for on home video, you want to see that kind of quality cartoon on the internet where all you do is click and watch it. And you want to see that kind of quality on the Sergio Show, a show that I made for myself with a form of animation that I think could help me get this show put together quicker. But unfortunately, you guys don't approve it that much. I enjoy it, but I understand what everybody's coming from when they want to see a frame, just a bunch of frames of me being played really quickly. It's the most tedious animation part of the process, so I have to go with, keyframe puppet animation. And oddly enough, it's kind of, the weirdest thing to say after just saying what I just said. But even when using one of the quickest forms of animation, cutout keyframe animation, it still takes me a while. I mean, no matter what, you're pretty much doing a slow version of a live action process where if you want to record a second. But with animation, you gotta do a lot of things to make a second possible. And even with one of the quickest forms of animation, it's still tedious. So, yeah, all that time just to make a kind of animation that nobody or anybody hardly likes. So I'm sorry, and that's probably one of the biggest flaws of the Sergio Show. The only bigger flaw of the Sergio Show is the number 1 spot. Even though there's a million other flaws of the show, I'm just going to have to stop right here with the very last one I'm going to say because it hurts so much. It hurts. It burns. Okay, here we go. The number 1 flaw of the Sergio Show is me. I actually don't know why. I'm the best, so I guess I'm putting it on number 1 for no reason. I don't know. So put in the comments or social media down below why the Sergio Show is so gosh darn flawed. Even though the show is actually really perfect in my eyes, and the results of this can only be so good. Anyway, that's what I'm dealing with. That's the show, and I hope you kinda are decent about it. Oh boy. And that's all for this episode of The Sergio Show. I'm Sergio Dominguez, saying have an animated day. Sergio Studios.